Getting everything set up, just doing quick tests of things, and then waiting for Twitter to come through as well, because that takes a little bit of time.
The best way to start investing is with the XTB.
Let's check everything's live. Yep, sound is on. Right, we got a good stint tonight. We're going to get 3 hours in. Blimey. So I'm going to put 3 hours bob on. Set the timer going. Put phone away. Right, you guys can't see what's on my screen, can you? Oh, it's not doing that mirroring thing again. Hold on. There we go. Got it back. Welcome, good evening, everyone. Like I said, we're just going to wait for Twitter to pick up because it only likes to do things bang on the dot, even if you start streaming early, which is kind of annoying, but anyway. And I ain't going to show you this while I'm doing this. Hold on. think that's that. So let's have a look at my i3 config just before we get started, because I'm just wondering why every time load up the computer it's doing this. Oh, looks like we haven't done a... I've been updating my dot files as I go, so that if I ever have like a new machine, I have to start from scratch. I have to go through all this again, and just sets everything up. So bear with me. But we will shortly be getting onto back onto the course, and we were on the final challenge of recursion, and then we'll be going into the next modules. Oh, I can't get this thing in my neck. It's crazy. And then hopefully between tonight and tomorrow we can smash through these things and get it all finished. And then we can have fun moving on to the next thing, which will be... What would be the next one? Feels weird. It feels like I've been going at this like a while, but we only got through 7 so far. I think some of these other ones are a lot shorter. So build a static site generator. So yeah, that'd be interesting. So like static site generator, and it'll be using like Python and whatnot. It's a guided project, so that'd be fun. That'd be the first project on this machine that I'm doing, so I'll get used to that. Data structure and algorithms. Whoa, that is a chunky one. Blimey. There's a lot in that. Build a maze solver, that'd be really cool. Ooh, that's going to be tricky. Learn memory management in C. But this is much needed. And then personal projects. Ooh. Very nice. Learning Go, and on we go. SQL. Yep. So I feel like they've added a lot in here actually. Yeah, this is going to be one hell of a ride. So buckle up. Yeah, we've only got through. It's crazy. Like we've been through so much already. But yeah, getting through functional programming will be interesting. I've already learned so much from this. This is in terms of value for money, it's absolutely like up there with being absolute value for money. Everyone out there in the chat having a good time? I'm actually having a look at Twitch now and stuff. I've got a slightly better setup with a monitor, so I can kind of see people in YouTube and Twitter. Well, maybe not Twitter, but I can see people without sort of like turning away. April 9th, this should be live now. Up there with being absolute value for money. Yep, it says that we're live now, so we'll be ready to get rolling. Yeah, if you're in the chat, say hi, drop a message. I'll be able to see. I've not got a thing to put it up on my screen yet, but I'll probably figure out something like that at some point. But if you're around, say hi in the chat. I will get around to sort of messages at some point. In fact, one of the little projects I was planning on doing was like, I don't know what if it already exists already, but like having something to be able to see like all your chats in one, you know, you like go to like one web address and it just shows like all the live chats for sort of like your account or like username or whatnot, and you know, that'd be kind of cool. Where has my screen gone? Oh wait, hold on, is it finishing? Ah, it just finished doing stuff. No probs. Okay, we're back. Right. Right, okay. Let's smash it out. So we've got 3 hours. Let's see how much we get through. Okay, so back into recursion. It's the last thing in recursion as well. It's the third challenge. It's optional, but we do it anyway. So the longest word. In doc2doc, we have a search function to find the longest word in a document. Assignment: complete the find longest word function without a loop. It accepts string inputs document and optional longest word, which is the current longest word, and defaults to an empty string. Check if the first word is no longer than the current longest word, then recur for the rest of the document. Ensure there are no potential index errors. Okay. So if I run that at the minute, was it that command? Whoops, no, not control. No, not that. Was it control enter? Yeah, it was. Okay. So it's doing all the looping at the minute and stuff, but it's doing check the longest word is longer than the current longest word. Accept string inputs, document an optional longest word, which is the current longest word and defaults to an empty string. So the number of words, if length of words equals 0, then the longest word is returned. First word equals words 0. If the length of the first word is greater than the longest word, then longest word equals first word. Find the longest word. Okay, so it's already got something here. So what's wrong with what it's doing? They all failed. So in this one, the expecting was wallpaper, the actual was either. So it's stuck on the first word. So let's just break this down because it was already here when it was like that when I got here. But anyway, here it is. So we're going to have a words equals document.split. If the length of the words equals 0, then return the longest word. First word equals words 0. So in this sequence, when we say either that wallpaper goes or I do, the first word is going to be either. And if the length of the first word is greater than the longest word, which it is not. Does it pass? Run cases. Just print out what the longest word is because it's not clear from this. So why did it fail? So it gets back to that and then it let's try and decipher this. So as we're going through, so at this point early on, but let's just kind of just put the thing here. So printed like that. So printed first it's blank, so this first function, this first use case is given blank as the longest word to start with. And then on the first time it hits here, the longest word is either because it's the first one in the list, so then it comes to here. So document is going to be that wallpaper goes or I do with the longest word set to either. So it goes back round, either is still longer than that and this stuff, and then it goes all the way around, and then wallpaper is the thing that's set as the longest word. But they all finish returning at some point, so when it gets to the end, at some point it gets to the point where document is empty and it returns that. So it returns, at that point it returns wallpaper back up to here. Basically goes all the way back up again, so it always ends up with the resolving the previous one, but it never stops. How is it not? I wonder if it's to do with this statement. Let's put a print statement here. So first greater than longest. We put first word. So at that point, wallpaper, wallpaper, wallpaper. We do finished. Assume that a word means a series of consecutive white space letters. So check if the first word is longer than the current longest word, then recur for the rest of the thing. Ensure there are no potential index errors. What index errors? Raise by sequence subscript is out of range. Slicing indices is silent truncating to fall allowed the range to fall in the allowed range. If an index is not integer, type error is raised. Well, I don't think we're getting that, but I'm trying to understand where is this breaking down. I think because each time it's finishing. We just put like what the longest word is next to it. Longest word. Yeah, it's because it's ending with these, so all the callbacks are finishing. Do we need to catch this in a variable? So I feel like the logic is fine. So when it gets to here, this is where it's returning everything. So everything's going back to here, and longest word. So we'll just put like new longest word equals no, that's not right. If the length of the first words is greater than the length of the longest word, length of the first word is greater than the longest word. I'm struggling here. We can't have stateful functions in functional programming. It's got to be. This is the whole point. So why? It's because they all eventually evaluate, but they evaluate backwards. So the deepest nested one evaluates first and all the way till the end. So feel like let's give this a crack. So new longest word was that, and then basically if we if new longest word, the length of the new longest word is greater than length the longest word, then longest word equals new longest word. Is that it? Yeah, oh, basically. Okay. Right. Aha! Sorted. I'm a genius. Mamma mia. Oh, wow, no way. Right, let's see what solution they had. Was it like pretty much the same? So they kind of moved things around. So if the length document is equal to 0, they just return the longest word. They moved that words document.split. And then if length of words is less than 1, just return the longest word. If length of words is less than 2, if the length of words is less than 2, return longest word. Return longest word, words 1. Can't quite follow that. But we got this. We got this. Doing it this way. So, I guess that works. How does this one work? So, length of the document equals 0, return longest word. Words equals document.split, max split equals 1. If the length of words is less than 1, then return the longest word. Else, first word equals word 0. Then if the first word is greater than the length of the second word, longest word is the first word. If the length of words is less than 2, return the longest word. Or return the longest word and get the second in the index. Longest word. Anyway, I'm not sure how... I can't read that. This one is very, very difficult for me to follow, so I'm not going to lie. But we got it. So, there is that. Awesome. So we're on to chapter 5, and this one's a bit of a short one. Thank goodness. Function transform. And then we've got closures, Korean decorators, and some types. So, function transformations. Function transformation is just a more concise way to describe a specific type of higher order function. So when a function takes a function or functions as input and returns a new function. So function transformation is just a more concise way to describe a specific type of higher order function. So when a function takes a function or functions as input and returns a new function. Let's have a look. So multiplication function, add function, self math higher order function, square function, double function. So multiply and add. Self math is a higher order function. Input, a function that takes 2 arguments and returns a value. Output, a new function that takes 1 argument and returns a value. So self math takes a function, defines an inner function, and runs that function with the 2 arguments of itself. Square function, double function. Square function 5, yep. So the self math function takes a function that operates on 2 different parameters, e.g. multiply or add, and returns a new function that operates on 1 parameter twice, e.g. square or double. Let me just look at this. So double func 5. It takes it for both. Right, okay, yeah, passes it both. Assignment. Doc2Doc needs a good logging system so that the users and developers alike can see what's going on under the hood. Complete the getLogger function. It takes a formatter function as a parameter and returns a new function. Steps. Define a new function. Logger inside getLogger. Inside getLogger. See self-math above as example. Excuse me. So we're going to have define, what was it, logger. Logger, and it's going to take, so for example, it takes 2 strings. You can just name them first and second, so first, second. If you like, the logger function should not return anything. It should simply print the result of calling the given formatter function with the first and second strings as arguments. Return the logger function for the test suite to use. So where we just print and then logger formatter. And then first and second. So return. Nope. Oops. I think that's it. Yay! Transformation review. Well, that was quick. Okay. Example for function transformations. The math function. What does the expression self math add return? A function and into a function. Self math function. Woo! Where can inner function be referenced directly? Inner function. Within the global scope, within the add function, only within self math. Inner function, self math. Only within self math. It's private. More transformations. Why transform? Why transform? Why indeed? More transformations. Here's some example code for you to reference as you work through the assignment. Okay. So the assignment, complete the doc format checker and converter function. It takes a conversion function. Complete the doc, shake it out of it. It takes a conversion function and a list of valid formats as parameters. It should return a new function that takes 2 parameters of its own. File name, the name of the file to be converted. Content, the content. Body of the text to be of the file to be converted. In the extension of the file name if the file extension of file name is in valid formats list, then it should return the result of calling the conversion function on the content. Otherwise, it should raise a value error with the message file in invalid file format. So it should return a new function that takes 2 parameters of its own. So we're gonna have define so we're going to have a new function called if the extension of file name is in valid formats list, then it should return the result of calling the conversion function on the content. Otherwise, it should raise a value error with the message invalid error function. So conversion function valid formats. I guess we could call it check check or check for file name. File name, it takes file name and content, and basically if what was it, like content dot in you could just do like file name in in content, then return, what is it, should return a result of calling conversion function on the content. So return conversion function on the content, else it's going to return, it's going to like raise value error, invalid file format. And then return check file name, like that. Almost. Not quite, hold on. So takes the file name and the content. If the file extension of file name is in the valid formats list, then it should return the result of calling conversion function on the content, otherwise it should raise so I guess just if just else no, nope, still failed. File name doc content valid file formats. So I guess let's just do some print debugging. So print file name content. Can't see it, so let's just do a howdy folks. Howdy. Sample text. I really don't feel like screaming D. And then file. Whoops. Valid formats. It contains Python if string in array I guess if substring in array. Yeah, something like we need to check if there's a substring in the Python list. Try and put the new line stuff, so go like that. So join. We need to match partial, like so partial match part of string. I guess what we could do is we could just get the thing of it. So like if we do file name format equals file name dot split by that, and then it'll just be like the first one. Yes, that passes. So let's run it, see what it does. Yay! Let's see what their solution looks like. It's always good to look at how other people do it. So in a converter, file extension, yeah, they basically did the same thing as us. Oh, -1. Oh, interesting. Oh, yeah, the last one. Right, okay, -1 means like get the last one, doesn't it? And then as is just to like basically slightly different, but basically the same thing. So, why transform? You might be wondering, when would I use function transformations in the real world? Isn't it simpler to just define functions at the top level of the code and call them all as needed? Good questions. To be clear, we don't just transform functions at runtime for the fun of it. We only use advanced techniques like function transformations when they make our code simpler than it would otherwise be. Code reusability. Creating variations of the same function dynamically can make it a lot easier to share common functionality. Take a look at this formatter function. It accepts a pattern and returns a new function that formats the text according to that pattern. Now we can create new formatters easily. Bold formatter, italic formatter, and then you wrap it around like this and use them like this. Closures. 90% of the time when I use function transformations is because I want to create a closure. We'll talk about closures in the next chapter. We should use function transformations when it results in more understandable and extendable code, never always. Pragmatic answer. Another question again. Couldn't we just explicitly define bold format, italic format, and bullet point format as all functions? Yes, but we'll probably require more code. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, require more code. Filter command. 2 challenges, and then we finished function transformation. Filter command. In Doc, users are asking for a filtering feature. They want a command that has dynamic options so they can work as quickly as possible. Assignment. Complete the getFilter command function. It takes two functions as input. Filter 1 and filter 2 and returns a function, filter command. Filter command should take as input. Okay, slow down. So complete the get filter. It takes 2 functions as input, filter 1 and filter 2, and returns a function, filter command. It's already got that, and it returns it. Okay, filter command should take as input content, a string to be filtered, an option with the default value of --1. The filter command should filter and return the content according to the input option. Do not use the built-in filter function. If --1, use filter 1. Answer if you want an option with a default value. Filter command should filter and return the content according to the input option. Do not use the built-in filter. If 1, then use filter 1. If 2, then use filter 2. If 3, use filter 1 first, then filter 2. If another option is passed, raise the exception. So I've forgotten how switch statements work. So switch. Was it case? Can't remember. Hold on. Let's check our spellbook. Case. No switch statements in alright. Okay, so if option equals dash or 1 or option equals dash 3, then return return filter, filter, underscore 1 content, then use filter 2. Two, 3, then filter 2 and see what that does. Replacement, I'm good, and that's good, I'll never be good. Actual, missing 1 required position element. Filter 1 filter returns the filter command. Filter command should filter and return the content according to the input option. Do not use the built-in filter function. And then I guess and then I guess we just raise what was it, raise an exception? Raise exception. Raise exception. Invalid option. Invalid option. Expected actual. Pass. Oh, there's a couple of fails. It's not all fails. So input functions, replace bad and replace ellipsis. Expecting, I'm good and that's good. It will never be good and that's not good. Actual, get filter command locals, or missing 1 argument, positional element option. Fail. Oops, not that. Keep doing that by accident. I mean, not skip, I mean run again. So, input functions, replace bad and replace ellipsis. Expecting, so get filter command, blah blah blah. Command is mission 1 positional argument. Filter 1, filter 2. I guess if length of content is less than less than or equal to 0, then I guess arrays exception invalid option. Is anything to do with it? Nope. Required positional argument option. That's command option. I suppose I could do it here like this actually, hold on. Stumped. So get filter command takes 2 functions as input filter 1 and filter 2 and returns a function filter command. Filter command should take the input, take as an input content, an option, we already have that with the default value of --1. Is it like this? --1. The filter command should filter and return the content accordingly to the input option. Do not use the built-in filter function. 1 to use filter 1, 2 to use filter 2, 3 to use filter 1 first, then use filter 2. And if another option is passed, raise the exception of invalid option. Pretty sure that's like everything. Why is it failing? It's like there's the one there, there's a replace bad and replace bad ellipses. It's like just missing a dot at the end, but like why? Why is it not working? Anybody in the chat got an idea? Feels like it's going to be something really simple. I'm going to kick myself when I find out what it is. Default to 1. If the option is 1 or option is -3, return that. Let's submit, see what it does. 2 failed. Fail. This one's failing because there's one more ellipsis than this should be. Right. Ugh. What's wrong with it? Everything's passing apart from the 2. And it's the one with an extra dot and 1 less. And why is that? What is wrong with the code? I don't feel like there's anything wrong here. Hmm. Feels like all the cases have been catered for, but what am I missing? I'm gonna ask Boots. Boots, what's wrong with this? Just give him the fish already. Young apprentice, your code brings us tantalizingly close to success, but there's one key problem with the logic of filter command function. Observe carefully the option equals 3. When option 3 in your current logic, filter 1 for the first condition, then runs filter 2 for the second condition. However, the requirements state that filter 1 should be applied first, then filter 2 on the result. Oh, your code runs on these filters independently instead of in sequence. Whoops. How might you structure your logic to ensure that the output filter 1 is passed as input to filter 2 when option is 3? Whoops. Whoopsie daisy. 1. I suppose, yeah, we're just going to make it a little bit long-winded, but I think there's going to be like a nicer way for this to be done than what I'm doing. So we'll see that at the end. I'm basically going to do if option equals, I copied this in there for a reason, 3, then return filter 2. Always read the question, people. Filter, read it bit for bit. Right, so submit. Boom, and they passed. Huzzah. Let's see what they put, because I think it might be a more succinct way. No? They did it the same way? The same naughty way I did? Okay, fair enough. And no spaces in this argument, I guess, which is fine. Ooh, another challenge. Okay, so upgrade filter command. Upgrade filter command. Whoopsie daisy. Users like the filter command, but think it could be better. They want access to two. They want access to more than 2 filter options, and to customize the words that get filtered. It's time to upgrade the filter command feature. Assignment: complete the get filter command function. It should take a dictionary as input. Filters and return. It should take dictionary as input filters and return a function filter command. Okay, so we're going to say define filter command. Return. We're just going to return filter command. Filter command should take as an input. Take as input as a string content to be filtered. A list of strings options. And a list of tuples word pairs. Okay. The filter command should filter and return. Filter command should filter and return the content filtered according to the input options. There are no options in the options list. Raise exception, missing options. So if length options is equal to 0, then raise, what was it? Exception, missing options. Okay, for each option, if its option string is in the filters dictionary, so I guess for option in options, then filter the content by passing content and word pairs to the options filter. Okay, each option, if the option string is in the filters dictionary, filter content by, so if option in filters, then filter the content by passing content and word pairs to the options filter. So option, oh wait, hold on. Filters, option, and then we're going to pass, what was it? Content and word pairs to options filter. I guess turn that. Raise exception. Raise exception. It's going to be invalid option. Passed but not found in the dictionary. So filters, replace words. Content, hello, world, this is a test. Options, replace capitalized word pairs. Expecting high earth, this is a test case. High earth, this is a test case, actual fail. hello is a test, hello is a test, hello is a test. So past that one, missing options, invalid option. So filter is return function command. So here, I think it might be falling down here. So if option in filters. So is that how you check? Keep forgetting Python. So like Python, if in dictionary. Yeah, so do it in like that. So if option in filters, then returns filters options, is that right? Like that. We print printing function capitalized sentences. Yep, okay, it is doing that. Function replace words. Capitalized sentences. Oh, hold on. Oh, hold on. Filter command. So the filter command should return. Filter command should filter and return the content filtered according to the input options. If there are no options, input raise missing options. For each option, if its option string is in the filters dictionary, then filter the content by passing content and word pairs to the options filter. Raise an exception. So when we do that, we're returning and stopping, but we need to keep going. How do we do this in functional? For each option, raise an exception, invalid option for any option that is passed but not found in the filters dictionary. So it's going to be filtered content calls filtered content, and we're just going to do return filtered No, it's not working at all. Content helper search expecting high earth. This is a test case. With pairs. Yeah. It gets the content right, but it just hasn't gone through all the filters. Why is it like that? And then do return content? Yeah, feels weird because I'm mutating stuff, so like, that doesn't feel like the right way, but it works. Let's see what it does. Pass. What's the solution? No way. No way. What happened to the functional stuff? Can I just overwrite it? What the heck? Doesn't feel right. Let me say, but Boots, the solution is doing mutation. Let me see what he says. My stupid pants, you spotted something interesting about the filter functions are being applied. Let's examine this quite carefully. In the function, we need to create. We're iteratively applying filter functions to the content string. Each filter function takes the current state of content and returns a new filtered version. So, filter, content, each option, apply filter. Is this truly mutation? Is this truly mutation in the problematic sense? The original content string isn't being modified in place. Strings are immutable in Python. Rather, we're creating a new string for each filter application and assign it to the content variable. Assign it back to the content variable. What would your preferred approach? Would you rather store intermediate results differently, or are you concerned about the reassignment of content variable? I'm concerned about the reassignment. Come on, Boots, tell me. You understand you're concerned about reassignment. It's good to be thoughtful about variable reassignment. In this case, reassigning content variable is actually a reasonable design choice. We're applying multiple filters sequentially. Each filter needs to work on the result of the previous filter. The content variable is local to the filter command. I suppose it is. Command function, so its reassignment doesn't affect anything outside that scope. Strings in Python are immutable, so we're not modifying the original string in place, just binding the name to a new string. Oh, right, yeah. I guess so. If you prefer to avoid reassignment, you could use a different approach at a separate accumulator variable. Yeah, that's basically what I was sort of doing before, I guess. Same thing. Both approaches are valid. The functionality is identical, still processing. Okay. Makes sense. Let's move on. Chapter 6, closures. Haha. Closures indeed. We might finish this tonight. Not actually that many in here. Oh, still cracking the neck. How's everybody doing out there? If you're having fun out there or learning something, let us know. Say hi to the chat. Nobody in on Twitter at all. But no props. Yeah, if you're out there, give us a shout, give us a wave, say hello, be friendly. I give a wave. But anyway, we're on closures, so let's smash this one out. Get to Korean and decorators. Maybe we get to some types crazy. I don't like Korean. I've never liked it, even though I'm more akin to like functional programming anyway. But I've never liked it. It always seems like against the grain. But anyway, a closure is a function that references variables from outside its own function body. The function definition and its environment are bundled together into a single entity. The function definition and its environment are bundled together in a single entity. Put simply, a closure is just a function that keeps track of some values from the place where it was defined, no matter where it was executed later on. Let's read that again. A closure is a function that references variables from outside its own function body. The function definition and its environment are bundled together into a single entity. Put simply, a closure is just a function that keeps track of some values from the place where it was defined, no matter where it is executed later on. Example, the concatenate function returns a function called docBuilder, yay high order functions, that has a reference to an enclosed doc value. Concatenate, the docBuilder, enclosed doc value. Yep, there. Yep. Oh, non-local tells Python to use the doc variable from the enclosing scope. Save the return docBuilder function to the new function Harry Potter aggregator. Harry Potter aggregator. Right, okay, I see where this is like going. Concatenate string aggregator. Okay. Interesting. When concatenate is called, it creates a new stateful function that remembers the value of its internal doc variable. This one. Each successive calls to Harry Potter aggregator appends to the same doc. Non-local. Python has a keyword called non-local that's required to modify a variable from an enclosing scope. Most programming languages don't require this keyword, but Python does. Assignment. Doc2Doc keeps track of how many words are in a collection of documents. Complete the word count aggregator function. It should return a function that calculates the number of words in its input doc as a string. So we just have doc. Where's it? So like that. It should then add the number to an enclosed. Okay, it should return a function that calculates the number of words. Words in its input. Doc is a string. So define. What do they call that one? docBuilder. Let's call it like word count builder. Should add that number to enclosed count. Word doc word count. It's going to take duck. Then what was it? Non-local. Oops, non-local. Non-local. Okay, non-local count. So count is equal to 0. Local count. You should end that number to enclose count value and return the new count. In other words, it keeps it running to all of the count variables. So count equals plus equals duck dot split, and then we get the length of that. So like do that. So length of that, and then return the count. See how that does. Non-type object is not callable. Split. What? Hold on. Let's print this out. Can't get used to my machine again. So it's 15, blah, 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 blah. Oops. So return word count aggregator, word count incrementer, empty separator. Passed. Yep, submit. Boom. What was the solution? Is it the same as ours? Almost. Increment count. Oh, you don't even need like anything to split. Forget about that, yeah. They're basically the same. We got that one. So have a quick couple of reviews, practice, and then a few challenges. So closure review. The whole point of a closure is that it's stateful. It's a function that remembers the values from the enclosing scope even after the enclosing scope has finished executing. It's as if you're saving the state of a function at a particular point in time, and then you can use and update that state later on. So concatenate, yeah, like that. This means that in many cases closures are not pure functions. They can mutate state outside of their scope and have side effects. A closure, boop, the value of the variable outside its body can change. And a function that changes non-local variables is not pure. So closure practice. So one closure practice and then 4 challenges. Remember, a closure is a function that retains the state of its environment. That makes it useful for tracking data as it changes over time, but it can come at the cost of understandability. When not to use non-local keyword, when the variable is mutatable, such as a list, dictionary, or set. And you are modifying its contents rather than reassigning the variable. You only need the non-local keyword if you're reassigning a variable instead of modifying its contents. Let's read that one again. When not to use non-local keyword, when the variable is mutable, such as a list. When the variable is mutable, such as a list, dictionary, or set, and you are modifying its contents rather than reassigning the variable, you only need the non-local keyword if you are reassigning a variable instead of modifying its contents, which you must do to change immutable values such as strings and integers. Let's try a closure without the non-local keyword. Assignment: complete the new collection function. Accepts a list of strings, initial docs. It should return a function that closes over a copy of initial docs. This function should accept a string Append that string to the closed over list and return the new list. Do not modify the original initial docs list. So initial docs copy equals initial docs, and then we're going to have define this function should accept a string. This function accepts a string. This function should accept a string. Append that string to the closed over list and return the value in new list. I guess append. We just call it append, and it gives it a string, and then we just return initial docs copy dot append, is it? A string, something like that. Return append append string. Whoops. Underscore string. Wop wop wop. Complete fail. I forgot the thing. Python append list. Just append. Actual none. What am I doing? I don't even need to do that. So, initial docs. Tries the closure without the non-logical keyword. Yeah. One sec. Python copy list. Oh yeah, forgot about that. Whoops. Initial docs dot copy. Pretty sure it's this, right? No, not this. actual return. Return initial docs copies because of that. Yeah, I was returning the result of that instead of this. They put the same thing? Yeah, they did copy, docs append, and then return the docs. That's basically what I did. Huzzah! Now, got 4 challenges. Copy paste. So, doc2doc has a simple clipboard for copying to and pasting from a cache. Initialize the clipboard to set and get strings. Doc2doc has a simple clipboard for copying to and pasting from a cache. Initialize the clipboard to set and get strings. Assignment. Complete the new clipboard function. It accepts a dictionary as input. Complete the new clipboard function. It accepts a dictionary as input. And returns 2 functions. Copy to clipboard and paste from clipboard. It should not modify the original input dictionary. Copy to clipboard takes a key and value string pair and adds them to the clipboard dictionary. So define copy to clipboard. It takes a key and a value and adds them to the clipboard dictionary. So we're going to do initial clipboard. So copy equals, initial clipboard dot copy. Then we're going to do initial clipboard copy and key equals value and return initial clipboard copy, and then we're going to have another function called define paste from clipboard. Paste from clipboard takes a key string and returns the value from the clipboard dictionary. If the key is missing from the clipboard, return an empty string. So, if key in initial clipboard copy, then return initial clipboard copy key. Otherwise, return blank. Hey, passed it first time. Woo! Let's see a solution, see if it's better than mine. Yeah, it's just a shorter thing, so pretty much the same, just a short names. Challenge number 2, user words. Doc2doc has a spell checker, but users often use slang words that aren't recognized. Create a feature to allow users to add their own words to the spell checker. Assignment. Complete the user words function. It accepts the tuple of initial words as input and returns a function add word. Okay, so we're going to have define add word. Since tuples are immutable, you don't need to worry about modifying the initial words. Add word should return a new word string. Should add a new word string to the words and return all the words as a tuple. Add word should add a new word. So then I guess initial words dot append word, and then return initial words, and then return add word. Oh. tuple object has no attribute append. Whoops. So Python tuple append. I forgot. Oh, you just convert it back and forth. So turn it into a list, append it, and then so I guess initial words list equals list initial words, and then just call list append, and then what was it? So it is as a tuple. So then return all that as a tuple. That work? Expecting append, and then tuple initial words. So then print. We're going to do printing to see where it's coming from. Printing initial words list. Cat button. Yeah, hold on. Tuple. Okay. So don't turn it into a list. So if we just do initial words plus, and then what is it? Unpacking pending addition. So it's going to be like that. Like that. So it will have like all words equals initial words. Then all words like that. Nope. I feel like I've just forgotten, like, I've just done this. I've just done closures and I've just kind of just forgotten it. So just because it's not on a new line, we do like L equals this, return L. Nope, that's not why. Initial words. I guess non-local initial words. All, whoops, all words. all the oh, there we go. I knew it's something like that. Woo. So what do we got? So submit. They all pass. Let's see how elegant their solution was compared to mine. It's not much different. So I did the same thing. Got all words equals initial words. And then reference the, because it's a tuple. They're mutable. So you don't need to worry about modifying initial words. We need to keep track of it. So words assigned to that. And then non-local words. Words plus that. That's what kind of I figured out. And then all words. So yeah. Basically the same thing. Ooh, CSS styles. Interesting. So doc should be able to add CSS styling to a HTML file. CSS uses selectors to identify the HTML element to add to the style property. Essentially, styles are a chain of keys and values. Assignment: complete the CSS styles function. It accepts a nested dictionary as input. Initial styles and returns a function add style. So immediately we can have a, what's it called? Add style. And just return add style. So add style is a function that takes 3 string arguments: selector, property, and value. But selector is a key in the initial styles dictionary, and its value should be a dictionary. Okay. Checks if selector exists in dictionary. If not, creates a new dictionary for the selector value. So if selector is not in initial styles, then initial styles selector equals a dictionary, like that. Then adds or updates the property with the given value for the selector. Then adds or updates the property with the given value of the selector, returns updated dictionary. Okay, so then initial styles selector equals value, and then return initial styles. Yep, okay, so we just need to copy it. So copied styles equals initial styles. So it's going to be, instead of that, it's going to be that, it's going to be that, it's going to be that. So we do that. So, oh wait, forgot the copy thing. Copy. So it copies initial styles of modified initial, returns an add style function that takes 3 string arguments: selector, property, and value. Selector is a key in the initial styles dictionary, and its value should be a dictionary. Check if selector exists in the dictionary. If not, it creates a new dictionary for the selector value. Did that. Then adds or updates the property with the given value for the selector, returns the updated dictionary. So for example, initial styles like that, and then you add p color gray. Oh, okay, I get you. It's going to be what was it? A property like that. Actual. So expecting this actual. So what's the difference? Body, color white. Oh, okay. So if it's not initial styles, then we say an empty one. How do you append? Hold on. Python append to dictionary. Oh, I see. Hold on. So it's going to be whoops. Property equals value. Like that. Bingo. Let's have a look at their solution, see how elegant it was compared to mine. Yeah, pretty much the same. Yeah, it's just they use shorter variable names. It is what it is. Got styles. We've almost finished chapter 6. And with like around 20 to go, we could get to the end of this, but now depends how ugly currying gets and decorators and stuff. But I think we could get to the end of this by the end of tonight. How you guys doing hanging in there? You having fun? I know somebody's watching, but ain't nobody commenting. That's alright. You can do as you wish. Line breaking. Users should be able to break lengthy text into manageable lines. Lineation is simply dividing text into lines. This concept can also be applied to other data structures such as code blocks or formatted paragraphs. Assignment. Complete the inner add word to lines function. It takes a list of strings. So hold on. Complete the inner add word to lines. It takes a list of strings, lines, and a string word as inputs and returns lines with the word added. If lines is empty, just return just word in a list. So if length of lines equals 0, then just return a word like that. Check. Assign the last line in lines to the current line. What? If last line in assign the last line in lines to current line. Huh? Assign the last line in lines to current line. Current. That's not a thing that currently exists. Current line equals lines minus 1, like that. If the length of current line and word plus 1 for a space is more than the line length, start a new line by appending word to lines. So current line and word line plus 1. Okay, this right, hold on. So if length of current line hold on, let's get current line length equals length of current line plus length of word plus 1. If current length of line is more than line length, so is more than line length, then start a new line by appending word to lines. So a new line, words dot append, start a new line by appending word to lines. Hold on. else add word to current line with space. And assign the new string to the last index in the lines. Else add word to current line with space. Else add word to current line with a space. And assign the new string to the last index in lines. So lines.append current line, so f string, and it's going to be, what was it? Current line. Oh boy. We'll return line, so we know that works. So I'm not sure about this part. So let's see, they all fail. So inputs. So document expecting Autobots rollout. The Autobots are always ready for battle. Autobots roll out. The Autobots are always ready for. If the length of current line and word plus 1 for space so if length of current line and line is greater than line length, yeah, not quite. If the length of the current line and word plus 1 is more than line length. No, I think that was together, like that. Like this. Plus Oh, almost got it. Too many spaces. Yep, thought so. Oh, hallelujah. That was a bit of a wonky one to figure out. Have they got a nicer solution than us? Nah, not quite. Like, it's just pretty much the same. Is it just because they just concatenate without doing the F string? That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. No props. No prob, Bob. No way, Jose. So, we're on to chapter 7, currying. And I tell you, I'm hungry, so let's eat. How many have we got in this? Oh, not too many. Should be nice and easy. Should get through this. Currying. Function currying is a specific kind of function transformation where we translate a single function that accepts multiple arguments into multiple functions that each accept a single argument. This is a normal 3-argument function. Box volume 3, 4, 5. This is a curried series of functions that does the same thing, 3, 4, 5. Here's another example that includes the implementations. Sum, a plus b, and then the same thing curried. Sum a in a sum b. Return a plus b, return in a sum. Sum 1, 2. The sum function only takes a single input a. It returns a new function that takes a single input b. This new function, when called with the value for b, will return the sum of a and b. We'll talk later why this is useful. Assignment. In doc-to-doc, depending on the type of text file we're working with, we sometimes need to transform the font size of the text when it comes time to render it on the screen. Fix the converted font size function. We're using third-party code library that expects our function to be curried series of functions that each take a single argument. Converted font size. Converted font size should just take a single argument. Font size and return a function that takes a single argument doc type. That function should return the font size multiplied by the appropriate value for the given doc type. Okay. So then this is going to be define converted font size. What was this? In a func. It's going to be doc type. Whoops. And we're just going to return in a func. To passed or passed. Solution, pretty much the same inner. Right, explain to me. Why Korean? Because I've never really, I can understand why, but I just never found a sort of a good thing for it. But let's see. It's fairly obvious that sum AB is simpler than sum A in a square. Definition sum AB, return A plus B is simpler than sum A defined in the sum B, return A plus B, return in a sum. So why would you ever want to do the more complicated thing? Well, currying is often used to change a function's signature to make it conform to a specific shape. For example, definition colorize, converter and a doc, converter doc. The colorize function accepts a function called converter. The colorize function accepts a function called converter as input, and at some point during its execution it calls converter with a single argument. That means it expects converter to accept exactly one argument. So if I have a conversion function like this, define markdown to HTML doc asterisk style. I can't pass Markdown to HTML to colorize because Markdown to HTML wants 2 arguments. To solve this problem, I can query Markdown to HTML into a function that takes a single argument. So Markdown to HTML takes asterisk style, and then asterisk MD to HTML takes the doc. Do stuff with the doc and the asterisk style. Return asterisk MD to HTML. So Markdown to HTML italic, Markdown to HTML italic, colorize, Markdown to HTML italic, doc. I'm trying to get my head around this. So colorize function accepts a function called converter is input. At some point during its execution, calls converter with a single argument. That means it expects converter to accept exactly 1 argument. So if I have a conversion function like this, markdown to HTML doc asterisk style, I can't pass markdown to HTML to colorize because Markdown to HTML wants 2 arguments. To solve this problem, I can query Markdown to HTML into a function that takes a single argument. So that into that, and then at that point, yeah, asterisk MD to HTML can be run there because colorize Markdown to HTML italic is that there with the asterisk style. The asterisk style is already done. Okay. When passing a function around to be called later, it does matter how many arguments the function accepts. Yeah. When should you query functions in Python? Rarely, only when it serves a clear purpose, never always. Querying practices. Remember, querying is when we take a function that accepts multiple arguments and convert into a series of functions that each accept a single argument. And convert into a series of functions that take a single argument. So final volume, box volume 345, final volume. Box volume 3 returns a new function that accepts a single integer and returns a new function. Box volume 34 returns another new function that accepts a single integer and returns a new function. Box volume 345 returns the final result. Here's another way of calling it, where each function is stored in a variable before calling it. Box volume with length 3, with length 3, with length 3, width 4. Final volume. Here are the function definitions. Assignment. Doc needs to be able to find the number of lines in a document that contain a specific sequence of characters. How many things we got in this? 4, like 1 practice and 3 challenges. Oh boy. Doc needs to be able to find the number of lines in a document that contain a specific sequence of characters. For example, given the following document: quadruple A's, quadruple B's, C, C, D, D, A, B, B. How many lines contain the sequence AA? The answer is 2, AAA and AABB. AABB. Complete the lines with sequence function. It should return a series of queried functions. So it can be called like this. Num lines equals lines with sequence. Char length doc. The sequence is generated. The sequence is generated by the first with char. Is provided for you. Works like this. You need to define and return the second query function. I called mine with length. It should accept the final parameter and a doc string and return the number of the lines that contain the sequence. Define. Whoops. So define with length function. It should accept a doc. Split the doc into lines. So lines equals doc dot split. Use a loop, or if you're feeling fancy, use reduce to count the number of lines that contain the sequence in them. Use a loop, or if you're feeling fancy, use reduce to count the number of lines that contain the sequence in them. Forgotten how to use the reduce function thing again. Reduce function iterable. So count equals how do you use the reduce? Just use reduce straight up. Func tools. Have to import func tools. And there's it func tools dot reduce. And then it's going to be that thing with the lambda and then the lines. It's going to be lambda line. Let me try and remember. What was it? To count the number of lines that contain sequence in them. So I guess line in sequence. Found. This would be I'm how to use reduce again. Reduce. Takes one position but give it two a given. Apply function of two arguments. Left to right. So as to reduce the iterable to a single value, for example, blah blah blah. So x and y. Line accumulator. Is that the problem? Python reduce array. Some stuck in here. What's the problem here? So functions lambda blah 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 requires string as left operand, not bool. Requires string as left operand, not bool. What is found? So printing true. Do I need that? Apparently I need that. Python reduce Why is the update value from the iterable? The optional initial is present. If the optional initial is present, it is placed before items of the iterable in the calculation and serves as default when the iterable is empty. If initial is not given, the iterable only contains one item. First item is returned roughly equivalent to reduce accumulator. Accumulator line in to print accumulator line what line in sequence printing oops, not printing, printing found true. How do I use this? So Python reduce list if in I'm really stumping my toe on this one. Lambda. Oh, we can do an if statement inside this. So I guess if line break in sequence, then what was it? Okay. Line if line sequence else. Like that. Else none. List append. Yeah, I'm feeling fancy, but I ain't so fast right now. Can I get this working? I feel like it's going to be a much simpler way when it comes around to their side, but try and figure it out. So accumulator line, accumulator plus equal to the line. Plus equals 1. So once we've got the lines, we just want to figure out how many times that appears. We could do a for loop and try and think, how do we do a reduce function? How much stuff have we got? How do I do this with the reduce function? So if I take reduce the lines, so line equals sequence. Python if substring. Isn't that just a simple answer? Come on. No. I'll tell you what, I'll just do a for loop. And we'll do that. So found equals 0, and then we're going to do for line in lines if line in sequence then found plus equals 1. Still failed. Let's have a look. Lines. Whoops. Hexagon. Lines. Oh, let's print line and find out why. Whoops, wrong way around, so it's going to be sequence in a line. Right, see the solution. And updates to the loop as well. Fair enough. Whew, we spent way too much time on that. 11:30, we've got about half an hour left. We're going to have to carry on over tomorrow. So we've got currying, decorators, and some types. Oh, hold on, we're not finished currying yet, crikey. You're right, let's try and finish currying tonight. And then we'll do decorators and some types tomorrow. So, HTML table. Anything going on online? Drips and drabs. Alright, I've got 3 challenges. Hopefully I don't goof it up. Make a really bad run of it. So, Doc2Doc should have tools to create HTML boilerplate. One of the features should create a table. A HTML table has a header row or data rows. A header row has headers for the columns. Each normal row has date cells which contain the information in the table. It's essentially a 2-dimensional list. TD, each item in a table goes down to its own date cell, which are arranged in rows. TR, the table row tag goes around each row of cells. TH, the header cells hold the headers for each column and belong in the first row. Table, this is the parent tag of the entire table. Result, row 1 header 1, row 1 header 2, row 2 cell 1, blah 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 blah. Assignment, complete the create HTML table. It takes a list of strings, data rows, and don't touch above this line, okay? It takes a list of strings, data rows, and returns a function. Create table headers. Create table headers should take a list of strings headers and convert them into the header row of the table, then return the complete HTML table as a string without any added white space or indentation. Use the provided functions to complete the create HTML function within the create table headers function. So access the non-local row string. Okay, non-local rows. Accumulate the strings in the headers list as accumulate the strings in the headers list as header cells in a single table row. Accumulate accumulate the strings in header cells equals accumulate the strings in the headers list as header cells in a single table row. Accumulate headers, tag header, create tagger. Header row equals accumulate rows. What was it? Header cells. Add the row of headers to the beginning of the row string. So rows dot prepend header row. Add the final tag table around all the table rows. Return one single string containing HTML table. One single string containing. So HTML underscore table equals tag table and rows. Return HTML table. What are we getting wrong? Expecting actual There we go. Bit lucky, but some of that. Hey, that was complicated as heck to follow. What was this one? Header row is tag row. Tag row, accumulate headers. Yeah, I just did it in multiple steps. And header rows, yeah, okay. Kind of just did the same thing, okay. How many challenges? 3. Let's see if we can do this, but it's going to be time to quit soon, so I'm not sure how close we'll get. Oh, we're close though. So Markdown image. Markdown makes displaying images as simple as possible. To add an image to a Markdown document, just use the syntax. Alt text for brief description for screen readers and web scrapers required for accessibility. URL of URL a relative path to the image. Title shown on mouse hover optional. Assignment. Boot.dev makes using Markdown a breeze. This includes adding images to Markdown documents. Complete the create Markdown image function using currying. It takes a string input, alt text, and returns an inner function. It should enclose the alt text in square brackets prefix with exclamation mark. It's called the alt text in square brackets prefix with exclamation mark. First segment equals, I do a string like this, whoops, a string, and it's going to be alt square brackets like that, alt text, and then we're going to have define function, creating function returned by, I guess, add URL segment. It's going to take a string of URL, returns an innermost function. Use a replace string method to change any opening parentheses to that. So blah 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 blah. Decoded URL equals URL dot replace and how does replace work? So Python string replace the old value and the new value. Makes sense. So I guess it's just going to be that. Whoops. It's going to be replaced with Sage 28. Dot replace brackets like that with whoops percentage 29. do the same change, blah, blah, blah. Enclose the URL with the parentheses, blah, blah, blah. Add the URL to the end of the enclosed alt text. Second segment, segment equals first segment plus, and then f string brackets, curly brackets, decoded URL. And then create the innermost function returned by the inner function. So definition should take an optional string input for a title. Add a title segment. Title. It's going to be optional, is it? Optional string. If a title is passed, enclose it in double quotes. Then add the quoted title to the. So I guess if title equals blank, then I guess just return second segment. Else enclose it in double quotes. So third segment equals image. Then add the quoted title. Preferences from the end of the image syntax. It's going to be title like that. So I just did second segment. So adjusted second segment equals second segment dot was it r strip and it was that. So third segment. Title segment, and then add URL segment. That's it. Whoops, forgot the colon. Wow, well, we were that just worked first time. No way. Nice. What's their solution? Is it more elegant? Probably. Oh no, so they did the same thing. Yeah, they replaced in one line. Then the image syntax, the second image syntax. So you just did, yeah, same as what I did basically. Title none. Oh, I could have done none, yeah, that's a better thing actually. Image syntax, image syntax -1. F. That's a nicer way of taking off a little bit at the end. instead of stripping. Very nice. Yeah, that was kind of cool. I remember that. So many little things in Python that you don't remember. You can kind of like do things in a certain way. 10 minutes. Come on, let's see if we can smash this one out, even though it looks. Oh my goodness! Please don't be crazy. Please don't be crazy. Oh boy! Come on then. Right, Boot.dev should include a feature or image resizing, allowing users to adjust image dimensions to specified ranges. This ensures that images in documents fit and aren't freakishly large or hilariously small. Assignment. Complete the new resizer function using currying. It should make sure the image dimensions are never smaller than the minimum width and height or larger than the maximum width and height. The new resizer function takes integer inputs, max width and max height, and returns an inner function. The inner function should take optional integer inputs min width and min height with default values 0 and return the innermost function. So define new resizer optional integer min. So I guess just call it inner func. It's going to take min underscore width and then min underscore height with default values of 0 each. So 0, 0. There we go. There. If min width is more than max width or min height is more than max height, raise exceptions. So if min width is greater than max width or min height is greater than max height, then raise exception. Minimum size cannot exceed maximum size. Okay. And then the innermost function should take 2 integer inputs, width and height, and return 2 integers. Use the built-in min and max functions to reduce or increase the width and height as needed, then return the new width and height. So then define innermost func. It takes width and height. Reduce or increase. Use the built-in min max functions to reduce or increase the width and height as needed, then return if our new resizer function returns a set min size function, and set min size function, okay, so it's going to be called set min size, and the innermost one returns set min size. Hold on, and set min size returns resize image. We could use it like this. So step 1, create the resizer for the maximum dimensions. So max width, max height. return width, height, return resize image, and then return set min size. Okay, create the resizer with the maximum dimensions, set new resizer, set min size. So set min size to 200 by 100, resize image, resize the image. (1,500) new width, new height. Print out new width, new height output for 800, 500 with Korean syntax. So I think, to be honest, I only just want to use the max function. Iterate bill. So maybe I should resize the image. Where's the example, like Python max? Yeah, max. Max height. But I feel like this is going to be a bit of a messy one, this line, to actually get it working. Because like for each one I need to check if okay, zoom in. Dang it. Ugh. So we're gonna have like it's gonna be really ugly to do. Ugh. I don't have to do that. It's gonna have to be like checking is, max is width less than min? It's gonna feel like really long-winded. Hold on. So, final width equals width. Final height equals height. Height. So if final width is less than min width, it's going to be really bad. Final width equals min width. This is not going to be nice. This is not the way. And then I guess return final width, final height. Min height, final height. Oh, let me just copy this. I think this is a really ugly way of doing it. Min underscore height, max underscore height, underscore height. Still fails. We're gonna submit. Of course it doesn't. I feel like we're at the end of the night, and I've got the brain juice to figure this one out. I don't know about using the min and max width thing, so hey Boots, what's wrong with this? Yeah, skim the fish. Green should spellcaster. Your image resizing function is almost there, but I spot a small issue with your logic. Let's examine the line carefully. Final height is less than min height. Final height. This condition doesn't seem quite right. Think about what this is doing. If the final height is less than the maximum, whoops, wrong way around. Oh, is that literally it? Oh my goodness. A typo. Right, okay. Yeah, so they know how to use the min and max functions. So for the max one, they put in the, hold on, they get the minimum between width and max width, and then they plug that in the minimum into the max with the min width. Brain's kind of done at this point, I'm not gonna lie. Boosh. So we are done for tonight, and it looks like we're gonna smash this one out tomorrow with decorators. But that is gonna be it for tonight. Oh, I haven't got much to say apart from that. I just want to say thanks everyone for coming and watching. If you've been down and having fun, make sure to drop a follow, like, whatever it might be on whatever platform, and have if you've had a bit of fun, leave a message and stuff. Come back tomorrow. I'm going to pick this up, and we are going to finish functional programming course tomorrow, and probably do some other bits on the side. But until then, have a good night. See you next time, and ciao.